Hi, everyone. My name is Kelsey Romney. I'm an assistant professor at Utah State University, specializing in career readiness within Extension Youth programs. I'm excited to be hosting another 4-H Interviews with Pros video tonight. To get us started, I'd like to introduce today's professional, Kenna Kessler. Kenna is an instructor in the School of Applied Sciences, Technology, and Education at Utah State University. She's here tonight to talk to us about pursuing a career in agricultural communications. She has dual bachelor's degrees in both journalism and ag communications and a master's degree in agriculture, extension, and education. Interviewing Kenna tonight is Garrett Smith from Box Elder County. Garrett is a 4-H'er through and through. In 4-H, Garrett focuses on raising livestock, livestock evaluation, and leadership. He has served as a region ambassador and a Box Elder County livestock ambassador for the past 2 years. Garrett, I'll turn the time over to you.
Anna, thank you for giving us the time of your day to go through with this. I'm interested in what you do as in ag communications. What's a typical day like?
Awesome, Garrett. So my role is a little bit unique because I'm an educator here at Utah State University. So most of what I do is educating about agricultural communications. So the majority of my day, if I'm not in the classroom, I'm either planning lessons, I'm grading submissions, or perhaps I'm giving feedback or helping students answer questions. But in the agricultural communications field, that's a little bit of a harder question to answer because one of the biggest opportunities in agricultural communications is really the versatility of all the different jobs we have available in that field. So there are some common denominators. A lot of people will spend most of their day communicating in one form or another. Say you're a reporter, you'll be doing a lot of writing, meeting deadlines, etc. I can tell you a typical day in agricultural communications tends to be pretty deadline oriented, depending once again on what job you go into. But for the most part, I feel like it's very deadline oriented. So you'll have to prepare to have some days that are really busy as you're trying to come up and meet those deadlines. Some days might be a little bit more laid back. You have more time to work on things. A lot of our students in the agricultural communication program actually go on to start their own businesses. So they'll have a very unique day in and of themselves. Since they're their own boss, they can kind of choose when they want to work and when they don't want to work, which is obviously a really big bonus there.
Yep. What makes you excited about your job?
So I love my job. I'll be open and honest about the fact that I am a communication nerd and I get really excited talking about this kind of stuff. So I think the biggest thing that I love about my job is that I get to use my creativity every single day, whether that's in planning my next educational lesson or whether that's editing a picture I took from my last photography session. I just get to come and use that creative part of my brain on such a consistent basis. So no day is really boring or dull. There's also a lot of versatility in what I do, and I get to engage with a lot of people. So to me, that's very rewarding.
Great. Thinking back, is there any interest you had as a kid that aligns with this career choice?
So this is such a fun question. Because honestly, up until about my junior year of high school, I really wanted to be a doctor. And I don't really know where this came from. I think it was because when you're in elementary school, they always talk about, you can be a doctor, an astronaut, or a fireman. And out of those three, I was like, doctor sounds great. Let's do that option. And then once I really started to be honest about where my interests lied, it's really interesting now looking back on my high school experience because it was so obvious that I was meant to be a communicator. I was the president of my speech and debate team in high school. I was my FFA chapter president. I was the president of my local 4-H club. And all three of those different kind of areas have something in common, and that's communication, right? I loved representing something that I was interested in. I loved being the face and engaging people on topics I was passionate about and organizations that I was passionate about, talking about 4-H, talking about FFA, talking about our mission and what we stood for. And so I had to interact with a lot of people and represent an organization. And that's what we do as agricultural communicators. We represent and we communicate.
Right. What kind of education or training prepared you to be in this career field?
So after I gave up my dream to be a doctor, I started taking classes in the agricultural college since I had an interest in agriculture, born of my days in FFA and 4-H. I found out about this really cool program that let me get 2 bachelor's degrees in the time it took most people to get 1. So that really caught my interest, especially since a lot of the classes involved sounded right up my alley. I'd been a reporter for my small town newspaper since I was 15 years old. I just really enjoyed writing, and that really stood out to me. I then decided to get a minor in marketing since most of my classes in the agricultural communication and journalism program had a lot of overlap there. And I was really interested by those marketing classes. They were just really exciting to me and something that I wanted to pursue more. So I got that degree, and then really a pivotal moment in my career path, I would say, is when I decided to intern for the Salt Lake County 4-H Extension program. And that's really where I found out that I loved to teach, and I love to help young people find out what interested them, develop their skills, and really find their dreams. I had a great mentor during that internship program, and I really wanted to be a mentor to someone else and kind of give back in that way. So that's when I came back. I got my master's degree in agricultural extension education, and now I get to teach my passion to college students here at Utah State University.
Interesting. What's the average pay for a person in this field?
All right, so this is a tricky question. So agricultural communications is interesting because there's no set job. And I mentioned this before, is there's a whole bunch of different jobs that are considered in the agricultural communication field, but it's not like you can look up, how much does an accountant make, because there's so many different areas that we have. I can tell you nationally, the average pay for someone with an agricultural communications degree as of last year was around $70,000. So that's awesome. But it really depends on what area you go into, how much experience you have, and where you actually end up working. So if you end up being, a reporter for a small town newspaper, you're probably looking at about $30,000 a year. But if you end up being the director of a national marketing agency or firm, then you're easily exceeding 6 figures there. So I will say it is a good career that will support a family, absolutely, if you choose. And it's also a great career if you want to do it more on the side while you pursue other main interests like raising a family or something along those lines.
Okay. While I'm looking into this career, are there any skills that are necessary?
So you have to be a great communicator, as the name implies. This often involves a lot of writing. So you need to be honing those writing skills. That's probably the number one on the list of desired skills you have when you go in for a job interview. And then other skills really vary depending on your particular career. Many are looking for strong interpersonal skills, abilities to build relationships. Others may be looking at technical skills, such as being, a photographer, or maybe some good artistic skills if you want to be a graphic designer with this degree. I think universally, it's important to be a strategic and critical thinker. I think the world just needs more strategic and critical thinkers. And also a lot of times you're going to be solving problems. So you need to be able to think through those, kind of have a good head on your shoulders. That's one of the skills that you'll need in this field.
Right. Thank you. What are some of the biggest challenges you've faced
in my particular industry here in this career?
Yeah.
So like many jobs, you have to work with other people. And while that's one of my favorite parts, it can also be really draining. I tend to be a very empathetic person. So that allows me to relate well with others. That's one of the reasons why I'm a really good communicator. However, it also tends to mean that I get drained by the emotions of people around me, especially when we're dealing with lots of opinions or a contentious topic, or we're in a high stress situation. And so that's probably the hardest part for me. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I love engaging with people, but sometimes it drains me out just a little bit too much on some days. But I think this question really depends on the individual person's strengths and weaknesses. Some people thrive off human interaction that really energizes them. So what I find difficult may be a great strength to someone else. Probably the biggest struggle I see people coming into this industry have is they lack some of those basic writing and communication skills. Either, they just weren't interested in that type of work, or perhaps maybe they're trying to improve, but it's a big struggle to them. So it really depends on the person. Writing came very naturally to me, but I see a lot of our students have to develop those skills during their time here at university.
Great, thank you again. What's one of the most valuable rewards you've got from it?
So this career is incredibly fulfilling, both as an educator and as a communicator. So as an educator, I get to go to bed at night realizing that I literally made a difference in someone's day every single day in a big and meaningful way. A lot of times I'm really educating the next generation. And to me, that's just something that's really comforting to know as I, think back on, am I making a difference? And the answer is I am. And as a communicator, I'm constantly engaging the public in issues that I'm extremely passionate about. So agriculture is a big deal. It's literally the food that keeps the world moving, right? And so I believe in and I support this industry wholeheartedly. And it is my job as an agricultural communicator to share its story with others. So to me, that's my biggest reward.
Thank you. What advice do you have for me or anyone else looking into this career field?
Try it out. There are so many different internships and opportunities available. I really can't stress the importance of getting involved in your various interests while you're both young and have energy and time, because those things become in short supply the older you get. So if you're considering it, or if anyone else is considering it, please set up a time to meet with me. Like I mentioned, one of my favorite parts is getting to know students and helping them learn about their interests. So I'd be happy to meet with anyone one-on-one. It's really a big part of my job here is teaching, and I consider that part of my role at Utah State University. We can even get a tour set up through our wonderful outreach program here at the College of Agriculture. You can come up, see the campus, learn about the program. So just try it out, get involved, experiment with what you're interested in, and find out, what's really your interest. Do I like this? Let me try it out.
Thank you. Once again, I appreciate you giving me this time to interview you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
McKenna, can you tell us a little bit more about some of the USU programs that are available for people who are interested in agricultural communications?
Absolutely. So I talked a little bit about this in their interview, but here's some nitty-gritty details. So we offer 2 degree options. You can either get solely an agricultural communication degree, or you can get a dual major in both agricultural communications and journalism. The dual degree is very doable in your standard 4 years. In fact, I graduated with a dual degree and a minor in 3.5. So definitely something that you can do. And it's just kind of nice to have that versatility with your degrees. But we do offer a sole degree and a dual degree. So under the dual degree, you may choose an emphasis of 4 areas. Print is the first one. That's mainly written publications like magazines and newspapers. Then we have broadcast. So that's any visual media like videography, podcasting, or radio. Then we have public relations, which helps prepare you to be a representative face of a company or organization and how to market that organization to the public. And lastly, our newest emphasis is social media, which is aimed at teaching you how to craft a strategy and produce compelling content to engage a specific audience on social platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and yes, even TikTok. So you get to pick one of those 4 emphases, and it's just really kind of a fun degree here at Utah State University. It is a bachelor's of science because of that agricultural component, and we just have a great time here in our program.
Okay, thank you so much, Kenna and Garrett. I really appreciate both of your time. That was excellent, such great information. We really appreciate it. And thank you everyone who's watched this video tonight. And after tonight, we appreciate you watching the recording. Please join us again next month. We're going to interview a 4-H alumni and food scientist, Zach Cooper. And we'd also like your feedback about this video. So whether you're watching it with us live now or you're watching it in the future, feel free to click that link in the survey, survey link in the comments and let us know how we did. So thank you guys both again, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.